Hello everyone and welcome to Whiskey Wednesday. Today we're talking about a bourbon. You know I love bourbon, and it's a bottle of bourbon that has been very difficult for me personally to get hold of. This is Angel's Envy. Now for all of you watching in America, you're probably laughing at me because it's their introductory bottle. It's a pretty basic bottle of bourbon. But in the UK, for some reason it's just very hard to get hold of. Only ever tried a rum cask finish in a bar, fell in love with it. And then I ordered this, not this exact bottle, but I ordered this about a month ago. And it's the only time I've ever had a bottle of whiskey go missing in transit, which essentially means it was stolen by someone. So fair play to you, you've clearly got taste. But it was my birthday roughly a week ago, and the people I work with bought me this along with a few other things. So I finally get to open a bottle of Angel's Envy. There's some cool features with this bottle. So before we talk about the booze, obviously very unique shape. Has this kind of teardrop, almost like Glenglassaugh crystal decanter shape to it. Some wonderful wings on the back. Angel's Share, Angel's Envy. This is the stuff they couldn't get hold of from the evaporation. We'll talk about the history of the distillery as well and who runs it and who's running it currently. And then two features actually, which I love, which no other product I've ever seen do. On the cork, they rate their own whiskey, 10 out of 10, which no brand I've ever seen has ever done that. It's a bit cheeky, but I kind of appreciate it. It's a nice thing to do. And on the side of the bottle, because this is quite a small batch product, they have a bit of info about the cask selection, the batch number, the bottle number, and a little section where you can say what date you uncorked the whiskey on. So I opened this on my birthday, which is the 16th of June, 2020. And that's just a really nice feature to have in a bottle of whiskey. I feel like every bottle of whiskey should come with what day did you open this on, so you can get a reference. So they're a little bit ahead of the game there, which I appreciate. Before we taste it, let's talk about the distillery itself and what they do. Started by an amazing individual called Lincoln Henderson. I'm a bourbon freak, but I really have to rein back on that phrase because I didn't know who Lincoln Henderson was until I got this bottle of whiskey. So I need to renew my knowledge of bourbon. He is responsible as an individual for brands like Woodford Reserve, which is one of the best-selling bourbons on the planet. It landed in the UK in 1997, his brainchild. He's responsible for Gentleman Jack, which is one of the best-selling Jack Daniel's products in the world, his brainchild. Unfortunately, he passed away in 2013, and his sons and grandsons have slowly taken over the family business. And this is the definition of family business in Louisville, Kentucky. I was there last year, had the opportunity to go to this distillery, but I opted for Old Forester because I was trying to hunt down an old bottle of Old Forester. But I really wish I would have gone here as well if we had enough time. So Wes Henderson is currently the master distiller, master blender of the distillery, and his sons Kyle and Andrew are running like production and sales and things like that. A key thing we want to talk about with this before we taste it is the word small batch. Now that can mean so many things. It's a very craft term. To give you some idea, I got to meet Eddie Russell a couple of years ago, who's the master distiller at Wild Turkey. And for Wild Turkey small batch products, they use about 250 barrels for a small batch product. These guys use 8 to 12. And that's it for an entire production, 8 to 12 barrels of a single product. And that is, for me, the classical definition of small batch. It's single to just getting into double figures. And the key thing with this, at 43.3% ABV, it has been finished in ruby port casks. And unfortunately, when Lincoln passed away, Wes really wanted to run through this secondary finishing profile. So this is finished in port. They have a rum cask finished rye, which I have tried and is delicious. And they've used all kind of experimental woods from Europe and America and really interesting styles. So they're keeping their idea alive. They're running through with their dad's heritage. And for that alone, it's a product to love and to enjoy. But to smell, to taste is the key thing with any whiskey product, so let's do that now. Very candid, orange peel, a little bit of strawberry. Kind of drying, but still has that kind of like creamy corn, buttery, peanut dryness that a lot of kind of cask finished bourbons have. But it does lure you in with this kind of really rich, lovely caramel sweetness. One of the reasons I adore whiskey. You just kind of really pulls you into the glass. But let's taste it and we'll see what's going on. You can really tell he used to kind of work for Brown Forman. There's Woodford notes all over this thing. So I'm unsure of the mash bill, what percentage of corn, rye and malted barley are used. But this is like a more subtle, slightly drier, creamier style of Woodford. I love Woodford Reserve, it's one of the best bourbons on the planet for everything. But this has a super creamy, like peanut butter style to it. That dryness kind of pulls that through as well. The Ruby Port isn't overly influential, it just brings in slightly juicy, fruity flavours at the side of your tongue. But creamy, buttery, drying, slightly juicy and fruity. And it's the subtlety in bourbon which pulls through, because you'll always get those big vanillas, those big caramels. It's about what you can do that pulls in individual flavours, which makes things unique in Kentucky whiskey, or American bourbons in general, or American whiskies. But yeah, loads of peanut, loads of toffee, those classic vanilla and caramel notes, and then little bursts of like blackberries, strawberries, raspberries, all kind of dancing around the palate. A beautiful bottle, a beautiful whiskey. I'm really happy to have it as part of my whiskey collection now. It will be drunk rather quickly. I'll see what kind of things we can make with the cocktails wise with it too. I bet this tastes great in a Manhattan because it has that dry sweetness to it. I love it. I love everything about it. Its family, its history, its taste, its look. It's a solid 8 for me. Remembering the rum cask from years ago, that was like pushing on a 9. That was delicious. Really sweet and quite thick and sticky, but still really good. And they make a cask strength whiskey, which is now like on the bucket list to get hold of. But that's standard Angel's Envy port wine barrel finish. Great score, wonderfully well-rounded, a great history and a great product. Hopefully Angel's Envy see this and feel the love and all that kind of thing. But thank you all for watching. If you're a bourbon fan, not easy to get, but do try and hunt it down. It appears in the UK every now and then. But thank you all for watching, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.